Hey guys, welcome back. Let's have a quick introduction. I am Simran and we're reading a book which is Napoleon Hill, The Golden Rule of Success. So today we're reading chapter 2, The End of the Rainbow, which is quite very lengthy. We'll read approximately 5 to 6 pages of this chapter, or we'll try to complete half part of this chapter. So let's get started. Chapter 2, The End of the Rainbow. The End of the Rainbow is a narrative of my experience covering a period of more than 20 years. It shows how necessary it is to take into consideration events covering a long number of years in order to arrive at the visual truths of life, and interpret the silent working of the unseen hand that guides the destiny of a man. In all fiction, there has never been recorded a more dramatic scene than what I experienced more than 12 years ago. The final chapter of which ended only 1 year ago for the sake of business expediency. My close personal friend and business associates have prevailed upon me to omit this part of the narrative. Although I have may yet publish it in a later edition of this magazine, the significance of the end of the rainbow lies not in any single event related, but in the interpretation of all events and their relation with one another. Prelude. There is a legend as old as the human race, which tells us that a pot of gold may be found at the end of rainbow. This fairy tale, which grips the imagination, may have something to do with the present tendency of the race to worship at the shrine of Mammon. For nearly 15 years, I sought the end of my rainbow, and that I might claim the pot of gold. My struggle in search of the evasive rainbows and pulses peaceless. It carried me up the mountainside of failure and down the hillside of despair, luring me on and on in search of the phantom pot of gold. Lay aside your cares and come with me while I paint a picture of the winding pathway over which my search for the rainbows and carried me. In this picture, I'll show you how the 7 important turning points of my life. Perhaps I can help you shorten the distance to your rainbow search. I deeply regret that the Council of Business Associates impels me to omit the most interesting parts of my experience in searching for my rainbow search. Perhaps I shall be able to win my associates over to my way of thinking and feel privileged to include in a later edition. But I am here omitting. For the present, I will confine my narrative to the simple details of what I experienced in my search of the rainbow scent, as it carried me and time again, almost within reach of the covered goal, then snatched it away from me. As you retrace with me footsteps of my pathway in search of the rainbow end, you will see furrows of experience that have been plowed with thorns and watered with tears. You will walk with me down through the valley of the shadow. You will scale the mountain tops of expectation and find yourself suddenly crashing to the bottomless pits of despondency and failure. You will walk through green fields and crawl over sandy deserts. Finally, we'll arrive at the rainbow's end. Be perhaps far shocked because you'll know not only the pot of gold that legends of the past have foretold, but you'll find something else that is more to be covered than all the gold on earth. Finding out what this something is shall be a reward for following me in this adventure. One morning I was awakened abruptly as if someone had shaken me. I looked around and found no one in the room. It was 3 a.m. In the fractional part of a minute, I saw a clear, concise picture that epitomized the 7 turning points of my life. Just they are here described. I felt an impelling desire. It was much more than a desire, it was a command to reduce the picture to words and use it as a public lecture. Until this moment, I had failed utterly to correctly interpret my many of my life experiences, some of which had left scars of disappointment on my heart and touch of bitterness that somehow colored and modify my efforts to be a constructive servant of the people. You will pardon me if I refrain from expressing my real feelings during this moment when the last lingering touch of intolerance was wiped out of my heart, and I saw for the first time in my life the real significance of those trying experiences, those hurt touches, those disappointments, and those hardships which overtake all of us at one time or another. I ask that you pardon me for omitting the description of the experience, but because of lack of words with which to correctly interpret those feelings. With this foundation, you may come with me to the beginning of the first important turning point in my life, which happened more sorry, which happened more than 20 years ago while I was a homeless lad, without education and without an aim in life. I was floating helplessly on the sea of life as a dry leaf would float on the bosom of the winds. As well as I can remember no ambition higher than that of being laborer in the coal mine had ever reached my mind. The hand of the fate seemed to be against me. I believed in no one except God and myself, and sometimes I wondered if God were not double crossing me. I was crinkly and filled with skepticism and doubt. I believed in nothing that I could understand. 2 and 2 meant 4 to me, only when I put down the figures and had done the adding myself. All of which I freely admit is a prosaic and eventually beginning for this narrative, a fact for which I am in no way responsible since I'm here setting down only what planned. And may it not be well if I digress just a moment, but I remind you that most early life experiences are uneventful, dry and prosaic. This point seems so vital that I feel impelled to turn the spotlight on it before I proceed with my narrative, that it may become an emblematic factor in helping you to interpret the experiences of your own life in the light of the real significance of every event, no matter how insignificant it may have seemed at the time. I am convinced that too often we look for the important events in life to come in a dramatic, impressive, and staged manner, whereas in reality they come and go unnoticed except for the joy and grief that they bring, and we lost sight of the real lesson they teach while we fix our attention upon this joy or grief. The event. So finally, we have read more than 4 pages. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5, you know. So we have read 5 pages of this book. So we are ending this video at this point. So I hope you like this video, and sorry for the editing issues in this video. I know I didn't edit it still, but I know that there are many issues in this video where somewhere are some voiceover issues, so I'm sorry, and thanks for watching this video.